And welcome to the Geeks, 31 Days of Horror for Halloween. This is Lil.
And this is Steve.
And tonight we're reviewing The Conference from, 2023? 2023, yeah, 2023. This is a foreign film. I believe it's from Sweden, if I can remember correctly.
Denmark,
but yeah.
Maybe.
Okay.
Dutch? Is it Dutch? Come on, Lil.
I know. I was trying to pull it up.
Your pick.
It was my pick a month ago, and then I thought I told you to watch it, and then I totally forgot that I did watch it. So I'll go quickly. I believe it is Swedish or Finnish or one of those issues.
Swedish. It's Swedish. What are you looking up? Goddamn! How did I get it before you?
I'm on IMDb. Wasn't telling me fast enough. So, a team building conference for a team of employees that turns into a nightmare when accosted for corruption begins to circulate and plague their work environment. At the same time, a mysterious figure begins murdering the participants. Seems interesting. What I liked about this movie's concept, and it stars nobody that you're gonna know, so I'm not gonna go through who's in it. But what I liked about the concept was it's all adults. You know what I mean? It's like adults like in our age group and older, people who you would work with. You know what I mean? It's not like the normal slasher kids in a camp, kids in a forest. No, these are people who some of them are not great people who are doing shady shenanigans that at one point at a time in your life, you've probably worked with some of these people who do whatever they can to get on top, who are stealing credit for work. And you get locked into this project with all of them. And I saw this concept and I'm like, you know what? Let me watch this movie. I'm very curious. And then I saw some costume guy with a big head and I was like, well, that's ridiculous. But all right, I'm going to still turn this on. And I didn't hate it. There were some good kills. There was some vile human characters that I could not wait for them to die on screen. Didn't die soon enough for one of them. But there were some inventive kills that I was actually impressed with. I'm gonna give it a sidekick. Not to say that it's not worthy of a high sidekick or a hero or anything. I just think part of the difficulty was, it was dubbed. So some of the ADR and kind of the language and this stuff, it just kind of was really hard to follow. It had a hard time following, but when it ramped up in the kill section, it became enjoyable. So I'm gonna give it a sidekick. I think you have to pay attention to get it, and some of the times it's hard to pay attention. So again, I enjoyed it.
So this is a foreign film, which is dubbed. So I wonder if there was a way we could have watched it with just like the subtitles and the regular. I didn't try to see if there was a way. So the problem is with this movie for me is that it's a horror comedy, and the comedy gets lost in translation for me. I'm
very
not
much
laughing. So. Things are supposed to be funny, and then maybe they're culturally funny, but like I'm not laughing. So the humor gets lost. But that's why it's always tricky to review comedies. We talk about that a lot. So I'm going to lean into the horror aspect of this, and the horror side of this I thought was actually really good. You're right, it is a ridiculous costume, but I can get behind a ridiculous costume. I don't care about that. Like, ridiculous costumes are fine. Like this is a ridiculous movie. I don't have the experience that you might with team building exercises and going out on like work retreats with office people. That's not a job I've ever had, so I can't relate to any of this shit at all. Like
I haven't had one like this where I'm sharing a room with people.
I'm like, all this. None of these people would last a day.
I've had an awkward encounter involving a hot tub. I was not in said hot tub. I was around seeing people act like a fool in hot tubs, and there's lots of stories with that. Hilarious stories that a lot of people, if they're listening to the podcast that know me, that know from more, they know the story, because the minute that happened, I was on my phone calling my friends saying, "You cannot believe what I just saw." So there are things, and I was just like, what is happening? And then I saw it here, and I'm like, oh, this is hilarious.
That was
Yeah.
your telling you to stop telling that story right now. He's like, hey, enough.
So, yeah. I've had some of these, not to this extreme where you're going off into this cottage area thing and stuff. But
So I think the horror aspect of it, and even some of the fun, the humor that's associated with the horror, with some of the kills, I'm actually going to give it a high side kick for all that. I think that if this is like ripe for like an American remake where you can actually dial up the humor but keep the same premise, because I think the premise is actually kind of cool. Like there's this land developer moving in and muscling out the locals, and they're pissed. And
yeah.
it's fine. I like this concept. I think it's a cool little thing. I just wish the story grabbed me. I had a hard time paying attention. Boy, when the action ramped up and the kills started in, I was paying attention. But by that point, I didn't know who was who. Like, I'm like, well, okay, who's that person? Was I okay? The lady with the glasses was a big pain in the beginning, but who's this person now? Okay, I thought he was dead. No, he's not dead. Like, I was getting real confused.
That's my problem. That's where I went with the sidekick. But again, you're right. I think it's lost in translation pieces, right? So, but I do, if we do dissect the film and go based on just the kills, yeah, I agree with you.
It almost, yeah. I think
it even gets a hero territory.
One kill in particular moves it up to a high sidekick.
Spoilers.
The boat propeller in the hot tub. The boat propeller in the hot tub is the fucking best thing.
I brought up the hot tub. I was like,
fucking amazing. I was just like, this is great. Like, wow. Like, I haven't seen that before. That's really cool. That guy's fucked. There's nowhere to go. Good shit. But then I got confused because later on this other guy comes in and he's like, oh, my head. And I'm like, wait a second. That's where I got confused. I thought that was the hot tub guy. They all look kind of similar. And that's not a racial thing. Most of them are white. I'm just saying, like those two guys in particular had.
Yeah, they were skinny, lanky guys. That, yeah, I mean,
dark hair, big eyes. Like I don't know. Like I was super confused for a minute.
Both acted like assholes. So, kind of happy when they got theirs.
The zip line death is awesome.
That was my favorite one because that was one that like. You didn't expect, and that's another one.
That's right at the end. You're like, oh, they're getting out. They made it. They got the zip line. They're going to freedom. Yeah, right on a fucking wall.
You just see a wall of spikes as they're coming in, and like, I felt bad because like that one guy, he was like a good guy, and he was protecting that girl, and he just took it. He just like flipped her around and like took the brunt of it, and she still got pegged a bit, but she survived. But like that asshole guy. The guy who was like stealing up and faking everything, man. Like the fact that he lived as long as he did pissed me off. Like, even though he got his coming.
What was his death again?
Well, remember, like he had his head sliced open, and then he
and
then she ripped his head. Yeah,
but that should have been like, I'm like, that shouldn't have been enough. Like he needed something else. Like I get, like that's rough, but like. The scalp's already been like damn near off the whole fucking movie almost. Like
he like stapled his head back together or something. Yeah,
there should have been more. I like the old lady that gets the sickle in the head and just stumbles around the rest of the movie. That was kind of crazy.
There are some really good ideas here, Steve. I think you're right. I think this is
the land developer and like the son that found his dad hanging. His dad hung himself from depression from all this crazy shit going on with losing his shit, and then the son becomes the mascot of this company and starts murdering everybody at this retreat. Like in inventive ways, fun, silly ways. And I like that he kept the mask on the whole time.
Yeah, did we even see his face?
No, we kept thinking it was this Lars guy that everyone was worried about, but I don't even know if that motherfucker was in the movie because when they took the mask off, it wasn't him.
Yeah, that's right. Interesting. Again, it was good. It was entertaining. Like, it's on Netflix.
I like the old man. Like he's getting fucking beat up by the killer. Like the guy's punching him, and he like makes a joke about him or something. He's like, "Oh, I didn't know the fucking pussy willows were in season," or some shit like that. I was like, "What the fuck? Like, you're getting crushed, dude!" Like, and he's like laughing at him, spitting up his teeth. It's like this old man's fucking nuts. And then even when like the killer gets it, when Nadia comes out with the gold shovel, yeah, cow, head lops off of the killer, and then like the old man just laughing. He's just laughing. He's like, ha ha ha,
He's
like
dying laughing.
so good. I, I think there's really good ideas here. I just think that my problem was maybe I was just too tired when I put like. There's a lot of things that go into it, right? Like I put it on, I was tired. I wasn't like latched onto the story. The characters, the dubbing was all kind of getting me, but I think it definitely deserves its fair shake. I don't think that my viewing, the way I viewed it, should color the movie because
Yeah, I agree with that. I try to avoid that. We've had many movies here that we've watched. I've given low reviews, and sometimes I go back and think about it, and I'm like, is it because of how I watched it, how I was feeling when I was watching it? And then I'll either rewatch the movie or rethink about it. Like, no, it deserved that low movie, but maybe I could have been a little bit more positive about it.
yeah.
And I agree with this one. This one, you have to be in the mindset. It's a horror comedy, and
This
you have to be
could be a
prepared that it's a
great
foreign movie.
American remake, though. This is right for that. Like, get some good comedians in there.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, you could have a doozy. Like, this could be great.
What was that horror comedy? It was kind of like an Evil Dead spin-off ripoff. Was it Dale and
Tucker and Dale versus Evil.
yeah, like Tucker and Dale, like that kind of horror comedy, like but different. You know, like that kind of style of horror comedy, right?
It's a good movie.
No, I know, like I like that movie a lot, but it's like you get actors like that into this, and just have them do their jokes, but have the horror ensue.
You have everybody. Like, you could even do this with like I could imagine like that lady with the glasses, slap Melissa McCarthy in there. You could get a little bit of Craig T. Robinson in there. You could put
Yeah.
You know, you could even throw some Josh Gad in there. I could see running around. He could be the guy that takes the fucking spikes at the end. I'm like, you could really. This movie's ripe for it. I just, maybe I just need to watch it again and stop complaining and thinking everything needs to be Americanized. Maybe I'm just being a dumb American. So
it's not that. I just think it's, again, like we said, like the comedy is lost in translation, and I think that's part of it. Like when you're hearing it dubbed and you're not seeing what it fully means. You know, like I was trying to watch.
When the guy takes the mask off and he's like, "I did all this for you, fucking shit," and it's like I'm just like, that sentence didn't, like, the words didn't make sense as a sentence. So when you're trying to do that in jokes and the words are getting like misinterpreted and like the way it's coming out, I don't know, like it just doesn't hit. Like if you translate word for word Japanese into American into English, it doesn't like make sense. The words are all out of order. Like phonetically, it's not the same. So
right, and some of the nuances are missed, right? Like I was watching on Tubi.
It's timing, little pauses in how you're saying words, little looks that you give right before you say something. Like it's all lost if you're not getting it.
Yeah, I was watching on Tubi a Serbian vampire movie from the 70s. And I put it on, and it had subtitles even. And it was, and it was in Serbian, and I'm reading the subtitles, and I understand Serbian. And I'm like, the first 5 minutes of the movie, I'm like, everything they said is nothing what I read. It doesn't match at all. Like it doesn't make any sense. Like what they're saying, I get. What they're writing is a whole different movie. And I'm like, I had to stop watching it. I was like, I can't watch this anymore because like I'm thrown off. But that's the thing. A lot of times when you see these dub cuts, it's why like a lot of people who watch anime love the subtitles over the dub, because the dub is not always perfect.
But then is the subtitles right? Do you trust in the guy that interpreted it and wrote it? You just said that everything that you read was not what they were saying.
True.
So, like,
I'm just saying that's the preference for most. So I don't know. I don't know what's right. So, but
I prefer
you know what?
Subtitles over dub, but I have to be in the right. I have to have the right amount of energy and focus to watch a subtitle movie.
But I do recommend taking a shot at this one. It's on Netflix.
I do. I think it's good.
Take a shot
at it. If nothing else, just for the kills.
Yeah,
exactly. There's some sweet kills in here, man.
What else? What was the other one?
Body count. He remember when he fought that lady in the kitchen and he just nailed her with the fucking frying pan?
Oh, yeah.
And then he walked up to her and she was like wheezing. She was like snoring. Like, I'm like, oh shit. Like she got knocked out. She's like, and then he just caved her skull in with the thing. But
Yeah, there was some
and he
brutal
strung that one lady up on the
in
flagpole.
the closet. Oh yeah, no, but she had the other one hanging in the closet, right?
Mm-hmm. There was one in the closet. Like,
Yeah.
there's some good stuff. The killer really got around. And what did we get? Like 4? The 3? Yeah, 4 survivors out of everybody.
Yeah. Did the old guy survive?
Yeah. He was standing up with the old lady laughing. Remember, because that old lady got the he threw that barbecue fork at her. Nailed it right in the back. I was like, damn, he's taking everything. And then he picked up like this wind chime thing he was gonna get him with. I was like, he's just everything he can get his hands on.
Everything's a weapon.
And they lit the mask on fire, and like I was like, oh, finally he's gonna take the helmet off and we'll see who it is. So they lit his helmet on fire. This fool turns around, finds a barrel of water, puts the helmet in, comes back up, it's all smoky, and he goes back to killing. Just like, all right.
It was like the Chucky mask, right? Like where you had all the marks and everything, but it's like you could have just taken this thing off, but
yeah, just like, oh shit.
You just didn't want people to see your face.
So extra. And then like his head gets cut off and it's just the helmet rolling around. They never see the hell. Even they pick it up at the end. I thought like, okay, the cop's picking it up. The head's gonna fall out. Nope, just some blood falls out. And then he walks away with it. Like, God damn, they're just not gonna show it. The only lady that saw it was the lady that got stabbed in the head. And I like how she finally died. She like stumbles into the lake, trips over another dead body, and then drowns.
Yeah, exactly. It's good. It's good. You know, I'm moving mine up to high sidekick. You know what?
It's a high sidekick. There's way more positive than negative.
There are. So, all right. Well, that's it for tonight. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you for your support. This is Lil.
And this is Steven. Until tomorrow night, everybody, keep it creepy.